Vauxhall Crossland X review. Vauxhall took its time introducing a crossover when its rivals were busy launching theirs. But after bringing the Mach-E, since updated and rebranded as the apparently more rugged-sounding Mach-E X, to the market, the company has found its feet. Since 2012, more than 120,000 Mach-Es have been sold, and now Vauxhall just can't help itself, to the extent that it will put two more relatively compact crossovers on sale this year. This, the Crossland X, is the first. The second, the Crossland X, will be larger than its siblings. Market overkill? No, says Vauxhall, but on paper the space between the Mach-E X and Crossland X appears very slender indeed. The Crossland X is the smaller of the two, but it is the shorter by only 63 mm. Luton's justification is that the Mach-E X has more premium allure than its stablemate. The Mach-E X can be had with large alloy wheels and four-wheel drive, and is pitched as a rival to the Nissan Juke and Skoda Yeti. The Crossland X, meanwhile, is front-wheel drive only and has the Renault Captur and Peugeot 2008 in its sights. This new Vauxhall shares its underpinnings with the latter as part of a technology-sharing agreement that preceded Peugeot's parent company, PSA Group, buying a controlling stake in Opel Vauxhall from General Motors. The Crossland X is a competitively priced proposition. The range starts at £16,555 for a low-powered 1.2-litre petrol version and rises to £21,380 for the most expensive 1.6-litre diesel model. Our test car was equipped with the highest-powered 1.2-litre turbocharged petrol engine, which makes 128 bhp and drives through a 6-speed manual gearbox. In its high elite specification, the list price is £19,395, although the options fitted to it raise that to £22,375. So is there sufficient room for Vauxhall to grow further in the crossover market? Let's find out. The Crossland X's platform has come from PSA, and although that means there are elements to the car's proportions that aren't traditionally Vauxhall-like, the car has enough of Vauxhall's core design elements to prevent you from mistaking it as a car from somebody else. Cues from other Vauxhalls have been integrated to make sure that's the case. The Adamesque treatment of the roof around the rear three-quarters gives buyers the opportunity to have the roof a different color from the body. The body sides, which otherwise might have been too slab-sided for Vauxhall's relatively sophisticated design style, have been made to look a bit more racy by Vauxhall's sculpting, which employs a style we first saw on the previous generation Insignia, where they added some dynamism and made it look more rear-drive. And the relatively bluff front end has received a Vauxhall grille and headlights to reasonable effect. But Vauxhall thinks the Mach-E X is the more premium proposition and, in appearance, we'd agree. The engineering is as straight as you'd expect at this size and class. The Crossland X is only 4.2 meters long, barely longer than some superminis, and it gets a steel monocoque basis. It tip tower scales at 1,287 kilograms. At the front, it's suspended by McPherson struts, with a torsion beam at the rear. Petrol engines are 3-cylinder 1.2-litre turbo units, badged Ecotec but fundamentally the same as PSA's units. They can be had in 80 bhp. 108 bhp and 128 bhp guises, mated to 5-speed, 80 bhp, or 6-speed manual gearboxes, with an automatic optional. Then there are two diesel engines, both 1.6s, which offer either 98 bhp or 118 bhp. The rest is mostly as you'd expect. There's stop, start and electric power steering, but, to Vauxhall's credit, more active safety and security features, albeit some of them options, than you'll find on many of the Crossland X's rivals. We're now well used to PSA's 1.2-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine in various Peugeots, Citroëns and Diases, where it commonly seems a slightly uncouth but likably strong and characterful motor. Credit to Opel Vauxhall's powertrain engineers, then, for better masking the tremulous edge of the 128 bhp unit's combustion than some of their new French counterparts have, and making it run a bit more smoothly and quietly in the Crossland X than it does elsewhere. The Vauxhall settles to a fairly muted idle and it doesn't shimmy or vibrate to its engine's peculiar beat as markedly as some of its relations do. It's a shame, therefore, that fact doesn't make this car worthy of recommendation in a broader sense. Vauxhall's claim is to be courting more mature, comfort-orientated crossover customers here than it has with the Mach-E X, but those customers won't be particularly impressed with the Crossland X's roaring, occasionally clunky ride, more of which shortly, or by the amount of wind noise rustling around its door mirrors and creeping around its door seals. Cabin isolation is pretty average. After refinement, drivability and economy will likely matter most to those in the market for this sort of car, and both of those are good, although neither is outstanding. The power delivery has remarkable low and mid-range torque, as evidenced by its ability to get from 30 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour in fourth gear almost as quickly as it will if you rev it out through second and third, and the fact that it hit 100 miles per hour in fourth, fifth and sixth within a measured mile during our in-gear acceleration runs. Because it's a 3-cylinder unit, the motor also revs quite sweetly and likes to be worked hard. But the throttle response is sufficiently soft at low and middling revs as to make the car feel like it's surging off in a quite unpredictable fashion at times, at least until you get used to waiting for a second or so after any given pedal application before the engine's response is fully delivered. A longer gear lever, together with what we'd guess is closer attention paid during the car's dynamic tuning, gave our Crossland X's 6-speed manual gearbox a slightly lighter, slicker and more pleasant shift feel than we've found in PSA models with this engine in the past, but it's a marginal gain only.